researcher Bryce McCall says this is concerning. He joins us now from our Cape Town studios this afternoon. Afternoon to you, Bryce, and thank you for being with us on a Saturday afternoon. When you speak about ours being electricity that has been declared the dirtiest of all G20 countries, what is used to measure that?
So basically we have a look at the data around the production of electricity from all the countries in the G20, and we have a look at the emissions inventories and the energy commodities that are consumed around the power sector, and basically we can compute essentially the emissions intensity. That's the amount of gases, greenhouse gases, emitted in producing the electricity. And out of those, we have South Africa comes out as the dirtiest in the G20.
Not a surprising finding, though, I suppose, when you look at our reliance on coal to produce energy, for example. But there are other bigger, more industrialized countries in the G20. What are they doing that we're not doing?
Well, there's a lot of other countries. The other G20 countries have a lot more of a diversified power sector, even though a lot of them are also very heavily fossil fuel based. A lot of them rely on oil or gas, which generally burns a little cleaner than coal does, whereas in South Africa we're incredibly reliant on coal for electricity. A bit more than 90% of our electricity comes from coal, whereas other countries is a bit lower than that. Well, a fair amount lower than that. So other countries generally make use of gas quite a lot as well in terms of fossil fuel-based electricity.
Does this mean then, Bryce, that in exploring our renewable energy options and nuclear and all of that, is this time then to fast-track government's nuclear build program, because that has been lauded as one of the better solutions at this point?
Well, in terms of build plan going forward, renewables have come down incredibly in price and cost to generate electricity. Solar and wind are a lot cheaper than they used to be 10 years ago. When we were seriously considering nuclear from a government point of view, that has changed since the numbers have come in. We've actually had a renewables build program happen in South Africa, so we actually have hard numbers about how much it would actually cost to supply electricity from solar and wind. And we only expect it to go down further as all other countries start adopting renewables a lot more. And the capacity to build wind turbines and manufacture solar power PV panels will only improve. So we're expecting the price to drop even further. And we're also expecting grid operators and other technologies like storage to come online and improve in terms of cost and reliability, so we can effectively integrate renewables into the system to supply electricity. So as you know, the sun doesn't shine at night, but with storage that will mitigate the effect of losing solar power at night. So the nuclear debate, I think, is all but dead. It's just not cost effective anymore to consider nuclear as opposed to renewables.
But renewables haven't done all that well for us, if this report that you've released is anything to go by, because in the period 2012 to 2017, emissions intensity from the power sector is up 5%, I understand. How's that even possible?
So what's happened over the last few years is that we've had a degradation of the power stations' maintenance. We're running the power stations a lot harder than we used to, and there's a lot less maintenance happening on them, so the efficiencies are dropping. The coal quality to these power stations has also been a huge area of scrutiny. Over the years, the supply contracts to these power stations, to supply coal to these power stations, have been dubious, and the quality of coal being delivered is not as good as it should be, as the specs for the power plants require. So as a result, we have a slight increase in emissions intensity over the last few years. It should decline as we bring on some more renewables, which have come online in the last few years, but at the moment it's busy increasing, as well as Medupi and Kusile units, their coal-fired power stations. They're coming online over the next few years, and that's just going to make the electricity emissions intensity worse. So, yes.
All right, Bryce, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.